Hello, this is our Lasallian podcast for LCLSONE, and this is Darry, Bince.
And this is Sanguyo.
And this is Irvine Garcia.
This is Enzo Cinconiegue.
Romulus.
This is Princess Nicole, Magalonga, and we have decided that our similar experiences revolves around our lives when it was during pandemic and how it affected us mentally and emotionally. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys want to share about your experience in the past? Even though it's already 2025, I feel like a part of us is still lingers there, right? Because I feel like when pre-pandemic hit, it was during grade 8.
Yes,
Yeah.
grade 8.
Right.
Actually, today
It was actually
marks,
like for us, it was the middle of grade 8.
Exactly, and now we're in college. Can you believe that?
today marks the 5th anniversary of the pandemic.
Wow, my anniversary!
It's actually we don't want to congratulate them. We don't give that time to stop a birthday. We're glad it's dead. We're glad it's dead. We're glad it's dead. March 13th.
Case zero.
No, that's when the pandemic started. Yeah, worldwide.
So that's the start of our doom.
Yeah, basically. For the Philippines, it started on 15th, the lockdown. So it's been 5 years actually. Half a decade. So, how do you feel about it, guys? It's been 5 years.
Kasi
since it started.
5 years ago for me was 2012 eh. But nandun pa ako sa
Yeah, it
mindset
doesn't
yun
feel
eh.
the same. It's not.
5 years, like when you think about it, it's not really like a long time.
I feel like 2020
It
lang
felt
yun.
like it passed really fast.
So,
Like,
kahapon
when
lang.
you think about it, it's like, oh my god, so much stuff happened. Like,
They said a 1 week suspension. Tapos
right,
5
like 1 week, maybe 5 years.
And we were happy with that suspension, to be honest.
Yeah, the first
Expand
week,
nyo pa! Sige, expand nyo pa!
especially for us, the first week, it was a term test. So I'm like, oh my god, yes, I got saved.
Same by the
Ganun.
bell.
Malala na yung mga finals, ganun.
Yeah.
Exams.
It was near Holy Week, so we would often
Oh,
pray.
yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like
that's
February.
yun na, naisip ko namin na, after this Holy Week kasi napakahaba na pa na walang pasok, di ba?
Exactly.
Ganun.
It took a while for it to
Oh.
sit in. But when it did, I don't know, the pandemic just felt like a blur to me.
Mm.
I feel like it sunk in the worst way possible.
For me, I think it sunk in after the fact. Like, when you like have to live with the same people for like 3 years straight, you don't see other people. You're like stuck in this little bubble.
Yeah.
That you don't really realize that. I have problems. I have my own problems.
I agree with you because I had like pretty much the same experience. I actually ghosted a lot of my friends during
Yeah.
grade 8. I didn't even talk to them. I don't know why. I just didn't talk to them. I was like such a clueless kid during grade 8 that I didn't even bother talking to them, like or reconnecting with them during the pandemic. Like one day face to face, the next day it was gone, and then I didn't talk to them like the entire 3-year lockdown. I didn't talk to them.
You don't know how bad it got.
I
Because
know how
you don't have. It's like when you observe like, how fast the plane goes. You need to have something that's static. You know how relative its speed is to that. So when you're comparing your mental well-being and your mental health and like my status like personally, if I don't have anyone to compare it with, like a different persons, you're not going to see anyone during the pandemic. It's like there's nothing to compare about. Like, oh, what's wrong with me? You know, what are they doing better than me? And once the pandemic ended, post-pandemic, I was like, oh my god, so much stuff.
You miss out so much stuff.
Missed out on so much stuff. I'm like really out of touch with some stuff.
Dude, like, I'd say, there's a saying, the road to heaven feels like hell, and the road to hell feels like heaven. And I think we were all riding on a highway during the pandemic, and while we were supposed to be doing something a bit more meaningful, something like we were supposed to be doing some character growth, but I think most of us, we were taking everything easy. We were doing online class, cheating using ChatGPT, And
Wala pang ChatGPT nun.
Don't
by the end,
generalize.
by the end.
This audio recording cannot be used against them.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Well, for me, as an AI language model, I don't know. I think I found some fulfillment in the pandemic. Kasi, have any of you had immediate family like in the same house na nagka-COVID?
Yeah, we all had COVID.
Like,
We had a time where we had
nagka-COVID kayo?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
COVID.
So, parang yung uncle ko, nung nagka-COVID siya, parang it made me realize na, what the thing that I've seen on TV is finally in my house.
Yeah.
Parang ganun, diba?
Yeah,
Parang,
very
it kind of
It's
gets a bit
happening.
real. Tapos, the cleaning up in the house, making sure everything's disinfected, it's very, it's like a normal spring cleaning day. Pero there's like a lot of more material. There's a fumigation, yung parang and some, just the machines that felt odd to use.
Yeah, it's uncanny.
It's very uncanny. And parang, I don't know, that weird feeling kind of made me felt like, okay, I think, in contrast dun sa sinabi niya, I think I should be doing something.
We got a lucky.
Yeah, parang I have that. Pero yun nga, parang nag-chill lang naman yung online classes. Pero at the same time, it's like, I have to do something, pero I can't do it.
You know, I feel like every generation has like its great struggle, great trouble. Of course, the generation from World War II. I think the greatest generation. Yeah, they had the World War II and I think World War I to some extent too. Yeah, and the boomers had Vietnam. For Americans, that is. That was also for us. EDSA, EDSA, and that was for Gen Z naman. I guess it's COVID, the pandemic.
Parang a big defining moment in
What do they
history.
call it in Marvel? It's like
The canon event.
Yeah.
For me, the pandemic was sort of a reboot for myself because before the pandemic, I was too hard on myself that I experienced something in school that I badly wanted to stop school at that time when I was in grade 8. So the pandemic was sort of like a healing therapy for me that I got into self-care, into healing, and I did a lot of productive stuff during the pandemic. I got to write my own poetry books. I started my own podcast on Spotify. And all of the things that made me want to start appreciating the time with my family and also resting. Yeah.
So, at some point, you can see na there's a positive side.
Yeah.
But at the same time, others spoken about the negativity when it's pandemic. How about you?
So as for me naman, before pandemic, I think I'm an extrovert guy. So kayo ba, like, extrovert ba kayo or introvert?
No.
Very introvert.
Yeah,
I think-
Siyempre, yung pandemic, after that, I think naging kind of introvert ako.
Yeah.
Like, there are times that I'm really insecure about myself. Like, the same pandemic, we tend to stay in our houses like for a long time. We have like a lot of time na nagbababad tayo to our social medias. Like, we compare too much about the life of others. So, as for me, like, I really became like insecure about myself at that time.
Yeah, I get that. The whole social media thing. Kaya during the pandemic, I noticed like a lot of people parang lumaki yung ulo nila.
Yeah.
It's either lumaki or lumiit.
Yeah.
Like,
Lalo
yeah.
higit, diba?
Lumiit yung brain, lumaki ulo.
Pero
That's how it was.
That's,
And they retained that until now.
yeah. Pero
You can see it.
some people, you realize it after the pandemic pa.
Mhm.
Like, those changes don't really set in when you're in the moment. Kasi, ano ka eh, kung ano nakikita mo, yun ang nakikita mo. Pero when you take a step back and look at the entire picture, that's when you're like, oh my God.
I think it's, for me naman, I think I did see it in detail. Since the beginning of pandemic, my lola died because of COVID.
Yeah.
Next year, may pandemic pa rin. My uncle died from my mom's side due to COVID. Next year, 2023, my uncle died from my dad's side naman this time. And then, ang daming namatay. So, I saw it personally.
Yeah. Was it harder to breathe?
Actually, no, I did not see it personally. What was way more harder is because I was in another country.
Oh.
COVID there is different from COVID here.
Yeah.
Everyone's dying here in the
Yeah, but
Philippines. Yung sa amin, it was complete lockdown.
It's like Taiwan.
The loneliness is there.
Yeah.
I hated online classes. My online classes, pumunta ako sa Pinas. I mean, like, my online class is Philippine-based. So my sleep schedule was messed up.
Yeah.
It's because I had to take classes 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Until 8 a.m. until wala. My world turned upside
Like
down.
parang sa gabi, gising ka, sa umaga.
Exactly. And ang hirap din in my part kasi the people wherein I tried to look my strength for my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
They also got trained because of the family members that died. And the worst part is we can't go to see them.
Yeah, tapos like nawala sa hospital sila and like
You can't
meet na lang.
It broke us
Sometimes,
because
nandun ka na, pero
Bilis,
hindi-
like,
hindi
the
mo
desperation is like whatever there is, if I'll get COVID, if we'll get COVID as long as we see them before their last moments.
Yeah.
Pero no, we couldn't.
It's painful.
It
Yes.
was too painful for us as a family.
Yeah.
But we tried to cope. Kasi 3 lang kami. Only child lang din ako. So the 3 of us were like just holding on to each other.
I think nung pandemic, that's when that I really realized the meaning of grief.
That's true.
Kasi before that, I only had one grandparent die. And parang hindi mo siya, like, I couldn't really be sad about it. Kasi you observed it naman eh. Through their life, they ate unhealthy. Yeah. So you didn't expect it na, it's not unexpected that they were gonna die like that.
But not
Fair enough.
because COVID.
Not because of COVID, because COVID, the healthiest person you know, the next week, will be 6 feet under. And it was way harder to grieve and a way bigger toll on your mental health well-being. Kasi it's you're already alone and you're already grieving for somebody na I couldn't be there for them.
So you're basically in the dark void.
Yeah.
That's what I felt mentally and
If
emotionally.
you went through it without the pandemic, the lockdown, there are things to distract you from it. Or there are things na you can find pleasure and joy from that can lessen the feeling of grief. Pero during the pandemic, grief was just multiplied times 10. If somebody dies, it's gonna be on your mind 24/7 because when you open your phone,
It's
you're gonna
unexpected.
be seeing people. You're gonna be seeing the death rate of COVID. You're gonna be like, so during the pandemic, death was always on your mind. Right? Even if you put it in the back of your head, you know it's there. And trying to grieve for someone with that mindset, is just, I wouldn't want to go through that again.
I don't know. For me, parang death was already present pre-pandemic. Well, for me, since literally maybe months before the lockdowns, namatayan ako ng brother.
Oh,
And
sorry.
yeah, well, he was like 1 year old. So,
It's just
Medyo
a
bawal.
baby.
pero like, not only that, but also just in the news, yun yung prime ng diba? EJKs, ganun. So,
Yeah.
death was already, all around, it's very familiar na. Pero, I guess what made it worse was like, you go out, diba? Pre-pandemic, you still go out, you still get to relieve your mind. Pero, you're stuck in home eh. You're forced to keep on facing death, diba? You're forced on, yung nakakainis yung Okta research. Tapos, wala, parang ganun lang. You have to always face those kind of issues. And I guess that really hit a toll on me mentally. Because it made me feel like, grabe, parang
Iksi ng buhay.
parang ganun.
Yeah. I mean, for me, unlike Ethan, I was an introvert. But for the pandemic, I was an introvert. During grade 8, I had little friends, but towards the pandemic, I couldn't do anything to like. I'm not sure. I didn't do anything to contact others, like I said earlier. But I did have some online friends, but it never felt the same. There's always like a bubble. There's always a barrier.
Right?
Yeah, Discord friends, but it never didn't feel the same talaga. I mean, it's different for everyone, but it doesn't feel the same.
I feel like they filled the gap of
They
what
filled
we
the
were
gap.
missing.
I feel the gap.
Because we felt lonely as far as that.
Yeah.
Super lonely.
Yes.
You're just trapped in the same four corners over and over
Yeah,
again.
yeah, same flavors.
Pero parang in filling that gap, it kind of changed the mold, di ba?
Yeah,
Because ano yun, instead of being like, instead of your normal friendships where you go out to the mall, ganon, it's become this version na, you have friends for online stuff now. Kasi like parang dun na mas lalo na for yung online version of ourselves.
Yeah.
Kasi what else we're gonna do? We're just gonna be on Facebook, be on YouTube. Parang dun na naging more important yung social media on describing yourself, on affecting your mental health. Ganun.
You know, the thing about the pandemic is, even if you're like, you know, you're just like scrolling, playing games, scrolling social media, you don't know that it's affecting your mental health because it's like feeding it's like a feedback loop. You don't think there's any effects on it, right?
Yeah.
Pero maybe like years later, it starts to like tackle your brain because you start to realize that your attention is getting worse. Your like dopamine receptors. At least there's like awareness about that right now.
To be honest, I think connecting to what he said, I feel like I wasted my time on the pandemic, and it makes me regret.
Yeah.
Like all those time that I've been locked up, I felt locked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt drained. I felt locked up.
Yeah, especially you're abroad. by yourself.
Abroad?
Talagang-
Only child.
Yeah.
I can't go out.
Yeah.
Darry, for me, I think that feeling only came about like during the later part of the pandemic. Because from grade 9 to grade 10, I was pretty much enjoying it because I had online friends. I played games, social media, of course those things. Pero for me, I guess I felt like parang nasawa na ako. Like I was like I got sick of it by the end.
Kasi at the end of it all, you see the bigger picture, diba? So, after all of that, parang, did you have your, parang, way of,
Mechanism.
let's maybe more, parang, post-pandemic, were you able to, how did you cope? Did you make your comeback? Did you make your redemption? Ganon.
Well, for me, I had my tito, 2023. Is that the end na? For you?
23? Ay,
Mid-2023.
kailan ba nagsimula yung
2019.
hybrid classes?
Hybrid class.
21.
March
21.
21. So,
Kala
mga
nila okay.
parang gano'n, mga 21, 22. Mga ganong later parts ng pandemic.
Yeah. Because for me, my uncle took our family, like our extended family out in trips. Like to the mall, even actually, this idea to go to Laguna as like a huge relative out there. So what happened was like we're taking a bit like I think you're all familiar with this term, like revenge travel. Revenge travel.
Revenge travel.
Revenge travel.
Like
Yeah.
all the trips you
was
missed
like,
during the pandemic.
Oh.
So
That was
you
like- that was a form of coping mechanism.
It's like a memory lane.
Yeah. For us, it was a coping mechanism to like go out afterwards. Oh yeah.
Kaya.
As for me naman kasi, during pandemic talaga, I was in homeschool. Like, wala akong online classes. So, ako lang mag-isa sa room ko, like,
Wait, that's
answering
sad.
modules. Like, that's for 2 years.
2 years.
So, as soon after pandemic na, my family decided to enroll us sa face-to-face classes. So, yun nga, I was really very so introvert na at that time. Like, wala pa akong friends kasi 2 years akong homeschool. So, I cope with having bonding with my family first. So, tapos little by little, yun nga, I tried to find some friends na maintindihan ako. So, yun para sa
For me, I coped during the pandemic and after the pandemic by
Your pandemic area was good, right?
Yeah.
You stated, as we are having negative loneliness drain us, you were here learning how to do podcasts in Spotify, which is great, to be honest. At least some people used their time.
Productive.
yeah.
Actually, despite the positive things that I've done, I actually went through something deep during the pandemic because my grandmother died during that time, but it was not because of COVID. She died because of stroke. She died a day after my birthday, and it was so painful. So during that time, I tried coping with the grief using writing. I tried writing poems about my experiences during the pandemic, how I reflected back on life pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. And it made me realize how we took for granted the moments that we had with the people that were in our lives before. For example, those people who passed away in our lives, those people who faded from our lives. We lost in touch, we lost connections with them, we took for granted those little things. And when coping with these stuffs, we got to realize that time indeed is short and we have to appreciate every moment that we have, may it be with our family, our friends, with ourselves. Because we don't know what will happen tomorrow, if the people we have here will still be with us tomorrow or the next days.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
As you stated, reconnecting with your family, realizations. I also, because my family and I are very religious. We're Christian.
Yeah.
So, lahat nga kami nagsasuffer at that time, right? We really don't know who to ask help for emotionally.
Yeah.
And in our mental state then. So, of course, we got closer to God. As much as, we kept on attending church kasi our church had a Zoom.
Yes.
So,
Online mass.
mass. Yeah, we went to online mass. We tried to connect with Him as deep as we can. And there's just so many realizations and it made me closer to Him. Like, whenever I have problems at this point, I feel like I have someone now. Because I went through pandemic, I felt alone, but He was there.
Yeah.
So, it's a good thing that I held on to religion for those years that I really needed Him. And even until now that I'm in college, it's crazy. Grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ngayon, first year college, ibang bansa pa. It's just a whole crazy thing that I'm not just surviving, but I'm living the life because of it. So I'm really grateful.
Just adding on to what you said earlier about social media, insecurity and stuff. I think it really did in social media and what I saw online. And you can really trust social media, especially when it comes to people who realize na, online I can post whatever narrative I want about myself, whatever image I want about myself. So usually, yun nga, lumalaki ulo ng mga tao. And I guess that took a toll on me and my insecurities. I'm like, oh my god, like if this is what people strive, or if this is what's standard to people, or if this is what's the best to people, how am I ever gonna reach that? And after the pandemic, that's when I really realized it after the pandemic. Because you just have to live life. Sometimes the insecurities you have sa ulo mo lang.
Yeah.
Pag na-realize mo naman na sa totoong buhay, when you walk around the street, who's gonna care what you're wearing?
Yeah.
Who's gonna care how tall you are? Who's gonna care like kung batak ka ba o hindi ba? Ganun. The thing is with the pandemic, and the biggest thing I realized about it is that whenever there's loss in somebody's, whenever there's loss anywhere, the greatest gift it can give you is na you can always add more. You can always get more. Pag may namatay sa'yo, somebody might, during the pandemic, baka may nag-anak, may bago kang pinsan, gano'n.
Yeah.
Or if you feel like you lost a part of yourself, there's always a way to make up for it. Not make up for it. It's always a way to bounce back.
Yeah.
It's always a way. There's always things you can find in yourself. This is interesting about me. I love this part about me.
But I'm gonna
You just have to live life. And you have to have faith. Whoever's on top, whoever's up there,
has a plan for you, and after that, just go with the flow.
Now we know na parang di ba? Parang once, yun nga, we have our own time to understand ourselves, to connect with God, get more self-confidence, all after pandemic. Parang, maybe nung senior high school time yun, naisip yun na, okay, this is my redemption.
Yeah.
Redemption
Diba?
arc.
Redemption, oh.
You
I remember, my whole class, they were very good. Nung senior high school, grade 11.
Yeah.
Well, medyo nagsistumble pa kasi nahirapan kami sa hybrid setup. Pero grade 12, I think that was where we all peaked. Ay, sana hindi naman lahat sila nag-peak. Sana they're still going up, me included. Pero, parang we were able to, put into action our faith, our what we all went through, our studies, di ba? Lalo na yun, typically introduction yun sa research, di ba? Ang dami ng topics po, post-pandemic, na research, ganon. Yun, marami akong nabasa. May nabasa ako about sa parang time management skills, mga ganon, about students. And parang napansin ko lang na that's service, di ba?
Yeah.
You're able to put what you experience, what you observe, into action. So, kasi for me, I came from a Lasal school. It's telling that it's part of the Lasallian process. You faith nga, diba? Faith and then service. You put into action what you experience. Diba?
Yeah.
For me, I came back to grade 12. I also came from Lasal School, Lasal Green Hills.
Really?
So yeah, same school.
Yeah.
Yeah, sabi niya
Di kayo nakita? Di kayo nakita doon?
What's your batch?
I'm 1 to 4.
Okay, just continue. Okay. Going back. Based on for me, I was introvert. I had academic background because I put my studies first.
Yeah.
Like on my mind, I need to make a choice well. If I was gonna go back to class, I was gonna go back in my final year in fine colors. That's what I put. Although I was doing academic, I wasn't doing well socially because it's like a trade-off, honestly. Yeah. Because if you're going to focus on one thing, you can't do everything. You can't please everyone. I was able to gain second honors and I was pretty content with it. So I guess that's some good growth, which right now I'm trying to replicate in college, but it's a whole different thing. So
yeah, like for me naman, kasi I became more mature. And so, kasi kasama mo lang yung family mo, so your family is there to train you. Like, for me, they train me like doing business. So, balancing education, senior high, education, business, and varsity, it's okay naman sa akin. Like, I can handle those 3 things in one time. So, that's for me.
For me, growth after the pandemic hit so hard because it made me appreciate the importance of connections with people, like communion, just like what St. John Baptist de La Salle is embodying the spirit of communion. Yeah, it made me value that after the pandemic, we got to meet new people and eventually started it's like a whole reset, that we try to form new bonds and eventually rekindle old friendships that lost during the pandemic. So that's how I got to appreciate the communion, the spirit of communion in that regard. How about you guys?
I want to add to your thing. Yeah, for me personally, there's lots of, it's basically a different year, after the pandemic. It's just there's only one way it's going up. I think my biggest moment of growth was June 2023. That's what? That was just a bit after the pandemic. We thought that we'd not lost any family member during COVID. That was true naman. Pero my tito ended up dying around 2023. I'm not sure what his cause of death was. It happened during a family trip, but I'm just gonna say it was quite hard for me to cope with his death. That was after the pandemic, so
yeah, after the pandemic.
That I think it was a heart attack. So, in 2022 it's tough year. It's a long year, tough year. But nevertheless, I think I grew a deep identity here because one, I was able to find friends. I was able to find the meaning of life and why it's so important. Because like all of you said, there's a sense of community to life. There's a sense of belongingness to life. And it sucks to lose it, but it's also why it makes it so valuable. So, yeah.
With your communion, I realized naman about the faith. Not only faith in God that I stated kanina, it's also the faith that I got in people. The entire world got into pandemic. And the entire world got over pandemic as well. So the faith that I had in people grew. My maturity also heightened. And my understanding was also enhanced. So despite the saddening moments of pandemic that was felt and the pain that was like we had to go through, I like that we had to go through the hardship muna. Before, right now, I feel like we're all in a good state. I feel like, hopefully, are you guys good?
Yeah.
So like, we're in LaSalle, one of the best universities. They stayed
Top 3?
top 2 right now.
Top 2?
Exactly. Kaya I feel like we had to go through that hardship for us to be here. It really made us grow into probably the best version or onto the best version of ourselves.
Character development.
That's some character development, definitely.
Because in a community, in a large community, parang it sets a bar, di ba? Kasi you're leaving something behind for those next in line. Yung mga juniors, di ba? Parang gano'n. Parang, ito yung nakaya namin to kaya ninyo rin yun Parang gano'n yung sineset natin. And I guess it just fosters a good sense of, parang betterment in the community.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. So like, I really did see the growth within us.
So, wrapping things up, how do you feel right now after talking about these stuff during the pandemic, how we felt, and in connection with Lasallian studies?
I feel like we all feel, I speak one for the team right now, that we all really feel happy that we're over that era, but at the same time we gained so many lessons. And even though the decline of our mental and emotional state was there, it also made us stronger.
What they say, the big diamonds after under pressure.
Real. So we're diamonds! We're diamonds here. So I'm really happy about this talk with you guys. Like, I got to open up.
Thank you guys.
Me too.
Okay, so we're officially signing off. This is Darry, Bince.
This is Ethan Sanguyo.
It's Irvine Garcia.
This is Enzo Cinconiegue.
It's John Romulus Morales.
And this is Princess Nicole Magalonga.
Thank you for our... Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Bye!
Okay, thank you, bye.